so for tonight, just wanted to basically talk to, all the queens within the group, and so when we started the group, we wanted to make it where um, we were helping women to be the best versions of themselves. And so, with that being said, it's easy for someone to tell you, you should work on being a better you, but a lot of people don't know where to start at, where do I begin at? And so, on this journey as we're going, part of being a better version of yourself is being a healthier version of yourself. And so for that, we wanted to go ahead and get with Miss Becker here because I know her personally. She's a great, wonderful person. And I know that she has had her own journey that she's gone through and things of that nature that I felt would just be a great tool and opportunity for other queens to just hear her story, get some tips and stuff from her, and be encouraged that they too, we all can work on being just healthier. That's a part of the evolving, that's a part of the better version of yourself. And so this was one of the reasons why we wanted to go ahead and, start doing these lives to just provide the queens with information, resources. So that way we're telling you to be a better version, but we also want to give you the tools to help you become a better version. So Ms. Livia here, she is a personal trainer. She does her personal training at the Global Fitness Center, and it's off of 639 South W.W. White. That's San Antonio, Texas, 78220. It's in the Eastwood Village. I will be posting up her contact information as well as her classes that she has. So she does classes on Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. And so if you do have a chance to definitely go out there and visit, look around, I guarantee you that you will not be disappointed. So like I say, I ended up meeting Livia through our children. Our sons are best friends. We are kind of bonus moms of each other. There's a group of them. And so I just, honestly, I never knew that you were anything but what I met you at. So it wasn't until one day I had saw the picture that she posted, and Isaiah came to me and he's like, "Did you see the picture of Miguel's mom?" And I said, "Yes." I said, "I never knew, but I wouldn't." He was like, "I never knew that either." I was like, "Oh, wow." I was like, so I knew that there was a backstory to that part. So I wanted to just kind of dive into just for you for right now. So how long have you been a personal trainer?
Actually, I've only been a personal trainer for maybe a year and a half because I got my certification during the pandemic. So, but I have been about fitness for the past over 10 years. So it's my life. It's something that I have a great passion for.
Gotcha. And so is that kind of the push to get you to become a personal trainer? Is just having that passion to want to see people do better, be better?
Oh yeah, definitely,
Yeah.
definitely. And the biggest thing that I look at is that I was once, you know, there in those shoes. So I know what, an individual is going through when they say that I'm not motivated, I feel a certain way, or I don't know what to do. Just someone that just doesn't have that motivation. I've been there, I've done it, so I can walk with you through that.
Amen. Okay. And so can you tell us what was your heaviest weight?
Ooh, my heaviest, I was over 300. There's a little story behind that, though.
Okay.
I was pregnant with Miguel, um, and I went in for a routine checkup. Well, at the time, I was going to go see a specialist. Um, and I'll get to why I had to see a specialist as well. But so I went in for a routine checkup, check the baby, and, the heart and all that stuff. And I was going every 2 weeks at this time. So when I got on the scale, the nurse looked at me and she was like, "Mrs. Becker, you gained 20 pounds in the last 2 weeks." She said, "You're at 315 pounds." And I'm like, I don't want to do it. So yeah, that's when um the weight thing kind of hit me. Um, I was still in a little bit of denial, I guess you could say, because I was pregnant and I was using that as my excuse to eat. So I was like, I gotta eat for the baby. He gonna be big, you know. But so to get back to your question, my heaviest was 315 that I know of because after that day, I told her I didn't want to know my weight anymore.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so what really was like your moment that you was like, okay, I need to change? Was it that conversation that you had with her that kind of
Yeah.
started to trigger something, or was it just another moment that you were just like, okay, I enough is enough, like I need to make a change?
Yeah, it was another moment in my life. This was a couple of years after I had Miguel. And I think he was in kindergarten or first grade. And the bus stop was like a block from our house. And it was up a hill. Um, so I would go walk to go, to his bus stop. But as I would walk up this hill, and a block isn't that far. So as I would walk up the hill, go, to his bus stop, my whole right side would just be throbbing from like my hip down to my legs. Um, and that was really a wake up call for me. So I was like, I'm too young to have these body aches just walking a block up a hill. I shouldn't have that. And I was like 20, my late 20s um, with that. And I was like, that was my eye opener. That was what gave me um, the initiative to say, I need to change my eating and I need to get my butt in the gym.
Gotcha.
So that was it.
And so when you realize that that's what you needed to do,
Hmm.
I hear a lot of personal trainers or people in the gym, and it's always one of the main things is about being consistent. So
Oh, yeah.
once you made that choice subconsciously to be like, okay, I'm going to make this change, how did you deal with being consistent? Because I know that's a struggle for myself, on my weight loss journey and just trying to be just better. It's sometimes I can get on a good momentum and I'm gone because I believe in creating a habit and I'm making it a part of my life and I'm doing that. And sometimes for me, unfortunately, when I fall or not do so well in with regards to my depression, being in the bed or can't having that to just want to get up, that drive, it will throw me completely off to where one day might go by, 2 days, a week. I'm on week two, and I'm like, man, okay, so I need to find this motivation to get back on the bandwagon because I'm seeing my body change a little bit back, and I'm like, oh no, like I feel like I've worked too hard for me to
Yeah.
come and go backwards. But being consistent is a struggle for me.
Hmm.
So is there a way or is there something that you have found that has allowed to kind of beat the odds with this consistency? Because it's a real battle for me.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna tell you, in the beginning, it was a battle for me as well. I would start off doing 30 minutes each day, and I would, do like good. I'd be like, yeah, I'm doing this, and then I'll fall off for a week, and then I'll go back, and then I'll take a break for a day or two, and then I'll go back. So it was always like a roller coaster with it. What really I think got me to be more consistent was when I decided to do my research with health and fitness. to see like what worked for me, like what foods work for me, things like that. And not only that, but when I started to see, excuse me, when I started to see the changes, that gave me even more motivation to keep going. I was like, okay, I'm a pant size down. Let me keep going. Like, ooh, I done lost 2 pant size. Let me keep going. So that was my motivation as well. Um, and the biggest thing I tell my clients, um, it's all about mindset. Your mind, it starts with your mind first. If you don't have that mindset, it is going to be a roller coaster ride for you because you're not going to be consistent. It's definitely a mindset issue, a mindset thing.
Gotcha. And I know, like, I had posted the other day the picture about, a fixed mindset and a growth mindset, and, having the difference of, wanting to try things or not wanting to try things. And so I do honestly believe the mind is so powerful. It can get you places that, you know, listening to
Yeah, yeah.
someone or talking to someone may not take you there. But just that change in that mindset, I found that when I started last year, it was one of those like, you know what? Like it was a aha moment. Like I really want to be around for my kids. I always make an excuse for myself. It's like working in corporate America, doing a lot of on call type of stuff. So it was just like, man, I'm too tired to want to dedicate some additional time, to go to the gym or to be downstairs. But when the pandemic hit, I
Mhm,
was able to
mhm.
stay home for a little bit, and I enjoyed being able to be at home. And so I was like, well, now there's no excuse. So let me do something. So we started doing like the Zumba and everything throughout the summer. But then when I had to get called back to the office, it was a downer for me because I was like, oh, so now there it is. Oh well, all my time is dedicated back to being at work, and I'm on call 24/7, and it's all this stuff. So I'm trying to get rest when I can, and then it's like I started this business and stuff. So it was like I had all this stuff on my plate, and so it wasn't until I went on FMLA in September of 2020 that I was just like, okay, like now there is no excuse. I had some issues and stuff with my eyesight, and my have some herniated discs in my neck and stuff, but I was like, there's still no excuse for me not to do something, because now I can't have the excuse of I'm working, I'm at the house. And then I started to see how my uh, 6-year old was responding to the Zumba. Like he was all about like, come on, mom. And he became this little extra encouragement, this little extra motivation for me, because I was like, well, I'm very
Yeah.
competitive, whether you're my kid or someone off the street. So I was like, well, he's doing too much. Like I'm trying to keep up with him. And so that's kind of how that started. But then it was also like that mindset, like, I want to be able to do this with him for a long time. I want to be able to
Right.
be around and keeping up with him, because we have two younger active kids, and I'm just like, I was tired. Like I don't want to chase you. I don't want to go outside. Like mommy's been working and everything. So it not having to go to the office and stuff and do that, it helped me change the mindset, because I didn't have no other excuse to give. And so when I decided to do that, for me, I do cold turkey. Like if I'm not going to do something or I'm going to start something, I'm all in. I jump with all feet, body, and everything. With that said, when you did decide to do the change and you knew that you had to do it, what was your diet change process? How did that go for you?
Um, it went. I'm not gonna lie. It did go kind of smoothly because I would eat fast food faithfully every day. So I decided, you know what? I need to start cooking. I need to cook at home. So a that wasn't difficult for me just to cook at home. Um, so how can I say it? It was more of a because I was able to spend more time, with the family, with the kids. Um, as far as cooking meals and stuff, instead of going to fast food, picking up, McDonald's or whatever, and then, We all eating unhealthy. And so, yeah, staying at home and cooking, it was more,
Good.
uh, it was easier for me. It was easier for me. And I know for some people it is hard, because I have some clients that for them going to get fast food is the easiest thing. But I tell them, hey, pick a day where you can meal prep your meals. That way you can have your meals set. You just go into the refrigerator, grab it, heat it up. Meal prep will save your life.
Hmm.
It really
Okay.
will.
So when you're realizing that, you have this time, you're able to cook your meals, and I totally agree. I'm like, fast food to me is horrible, but it's convenience, right? Because,
It's
you
convenient,
have, for me,
unfortunately,
it's a family of
and it's
6,
cheap.
and it's like, man, I'm just tired. I might get in later and stuff when I was, working, and it's like, I don't want to do all that. It's quick to go pick up, and it's cheap, right? So it's like, now that I'm trying to do better myself, I'm like, I don't want to eat late. I'm not trying to eat past 7. I'm trying to make sure that we have home cooked meals now. But with that, did you feel that it was difficult to change as well, because now you are vegetarian?
Yes.
Okay. And so is your whole family vegetarian? No.
No.
Okay.
So
So how did that work for you, having to prepare your own meals, right? Because you're trying to stay consistent and have that mindset, but you also have a family that's not on the
oh,
same regiment as you. Was that difficult for you, or were you finding that you had to start like replacing one thing? Whether it was like, hey, I'm not going to do the chicken in this, but I'm still doing fish, and everyone's doing that with me, or something.
mhm. To be honest with you, I didn't really have a problem making my meals separate from the family. Of course, it is costly because you're buying your food plus you're buying food for the family. So that was the only issue that I really had, was spending the money, the extra money. Um, but surprisingly, I would throw my vegetarian meals in, like sneak them in, and they wouldn't even know the difference half the time. As far as my oldest, he'd be like, "Well, this tastes kind of funny." Like, boy, just eat it. But like, yeah, like my husband, he wouldn't have no idea. He'd be like, "Oh, this is good." I'm like, it's vegetarian. But
So we
yeah,
had
I didn't
one person, Leia Ashley. She wanted to know, do you drink protein shakes, and did you meal prep for the whole family?
no. Yes, I do drink protein shakes, and no, I did not meal prep for the whole family. I only do my meal prep so I can be ready, and I just do their stuff, you know,
To
when
do
I can.
now,
Mm.
one of the things we were talking about before too is, oh, she asked, how long have you been on your vegetarian journey?
Actually, this month makes it 3 years.
Hmm,
Mm. So I'm on
okay.
my vegetarian anniversary, I guess you could say. But there's so
um,
many
so
benefits
so
of giving
while
up
you're
meat.
okay, so you have this shift in this mindset to say, okay, I need to make a change, I'm going to make a change. You begin that process, you change, your diet, you begin your exercise. Now, did you have a like great or solid support system, or team, while you are going through this transformation?
Actually, I did. My husband, he always supported me. Um, and then I would also have those that be like, "Oh no, you're losing too much weight. You look sick and whatever." So you're gonna always have those that gonna question you, or not support what you're doing. But yeah, having a support system close to you is very, very helpful. And I tell my clients that as well, because I know I have some clients that they have friends who like to go to the party and stuff like that. And I'm like, hey, you can still party, just be smart about it. You know what I mean? Make the right choices.
Okay. And so, having that support. So, it may not always be family, right? But
Right.
still making sure that you have the support team is, I feel also is just is crucial to kind of helping with your success, because
Yeah.
again, we being human, and some days you might be all in and I give you 150%, and then some other days I might have 20% to give you. But if I feel like I have someone, either it's accountability or someone pushing me to say come on now,
Yeah.
then you find the extra you know 10, 15, 30% to get out there and keep going. So that's
Yeah.
real important. I believe so as well. I have I hope I'm not messing her name up, but it's Marlisha. She wanted to know, what are the benefits that you saw as a vegetarian, and have you tried a vegan diet?
Oh yeah. Okay. So when I first transitioned, I started out plant-based. And plant-based is pretty much a lot like vegan. Um, so with that, well, with me cutting out meat, period, what I did notice was I didn't have as much bloat as how I would when I would eat meat. So when I would eat meat, I would just get bloated, and I would wonder, well, why am I getting bloated? Um, so it was a something came on the news, like it was like a little special about being vegan, vegetarian. It came on the news. Well, it was a special, and they were talking about the different benefits of being plant based, being vegan, vegetarian, you know. And I was like, you know what, I'm gonna give it a try. Um, and sure enough, that first week, and I'm gonna throw this out there too. If anyone is, thinking about doing vegetarian, vegan, or whatever, I would say try it for a week just to see how you feel, how your body's gonna react to it.
Hmm.
Because when I did it for a week, I noticed I didn't have bloat. I wasn't bloated. I had energy. That was crazy. I had a lot of energy. Um, and I just felt lighter. I felt lighter. Yeah,
Hmm.
I felt a lot lighter.
I know I had
Um,
a couple of new queens. I'm always um, talking to newcomers and stuff that's in the community, and I always
I
try to
read
make
my
sure
water
that
real
we're
quick. Hold
friends on my
on.
personal page, because I feel like you can learn a lot about a person, just kind of what they post and what's going on. And I realized that we have a lot that are either vegan, or vegetarian, and they're starting their journey and stuff, and a lot of them have just been like, they'll never go back. And then I'm like,
Hmm.
man, being around you, I know, that you didn't do certain things. And then, Leia being my best friend, she had started her, no, I don't want to do that. And I'm like, girl, like our best thing was getting the, boneless buffalo wings. Like, what? You gonna take that away from me, But I'm seeing that a lot of people who are taking that step I haven't had nothing bad that has come back. They really truly have been like, it's the best thing that has happened to me. And I would even go back and forth with Leia and be like, well, maybe everybody's body is just requires differently, and I'm just like you have different animals, a bear can, have this and need this, and the lion needs this, but it seemed to work for whatever it was. And I was like, maybe that's just how it's supposed to be, right? But then as I'm going just through life and just still, I eat everything except for pork. But sometimes I can tell where, I don't know if I'm just getting sensitive as I get older, but not everything is for me. Like I'll have, like, my stomach might get upset or something, whereas before I never had that problem before. And I'm just like, oh, and I don't have a gallbladder. And I know you're supposed to eat, yeah, you're supposed to eat certain ways and do certain things. And I'm not the best patient either. They always say nurses are the worst. And so I'm just like, I eat like I still have one. And so I struggle with, finding something where um, I don't have those after effects. And I do realize that when I have something, for a while I was just on a kick of just eating salads. sometimes with meat and then just regular salads. But I felt better, you know. And I'm like, that's where I'm trying to get back to, is just having a genuine feel better, and I don't feel sluggish. Because it's just like,
Uh-huh.
who wants to eat and then feel like that? You just feel like, man, like I could just go to sleep every single time. And I'm like, I don't want to be put in that situation, um, with every meal that I eat, you know. And I don't eat breakfast or anything. You know, I normally grab something probably starting from like 2 p.m. or something. And I've kind of pretty
Girl,
much always been not a breakfast person. Um, so I don't know if that, you know, contributes to it or not, but I do know that diet is very, very important, especially when you're trying to, you know, do a life change, for overall for yourself. Um, when you talk about, um, having to, uh, dig deep to figure out, you know, or like staying consistent with your regiment, for your exercise. um, I know normally they're like, hey, you know, just do like 30 minutes a day, do something. Leia kept, you know, jumping in my ear, just stay active, Ivory. You're not active. Do something every day. Do something. I'm like, half the time I, you know, just didn't want to get out the bed. I didn't have that desire to do that. So for someone who may not be able to go to the gym or, um, don't have one, trying to start a little bit, I guess, smaller or simpler. What's a simple way that you feel that, any of the women can start their journey if they can't get to the gym at the moment? Like, what's the basic? If I came to you and just like, I don't have no money, I don't have no membership, but I still want to lose weight, what could you provide for me or tell me? What would your suggestion be?
go outside, girl. It's free. It's free.
That's true.
Walk around your neighborhood. Walking is the best form of cardiovascular exercise. And that was my first, that's how I first started, was just walking.
Just walking.
Just walking. Hmm.
So would you set it for the quote unquote 30 minutes a day, or you just, you know, maybe take a stroll and say, hey, I'm going to walk a mile?
I was saying start off 30 minutes.
30 minutes.
Okay. As you gradually go, increase. And before you know it, you'll be walking 5 miles, 6 miles. You'll be damn near probably get ready to run a marathon before you know it. Just have to stay consistent. That's the key word,
Keyword.
consistency. Hmm.
Have you, while you know, journey for your transformation, um, do you feel having like a workout buddy, really helps, or is that more so kind of based on pretty much like your personality? Some people like to be by themselves and handle it, and then some people, you know, like I say, you need that camaraderie, that support, and sometimes it takes your mind off of not personally saying, hey, I'm exercising, you know, we just walking and talking.
I really think it depends on that person. Me, myself, all I needed was my music. And
Mm.
there were times when I would just talk to God and be like, Lord Jesus, thank you for giving me another opportunity to be able to move. You know, because I was in such a state to where, I mean, y'all, I was like heavily overweight. I was like, my hair was coming out. You know, I was in a bad situation. You know, and I put myself there. So just being able to walk, you know, I would just spend time with God. You know, I'd be like, thank you, Lord, thank you for another opportunity to walk. Thank you, being able to move. You know, Lord, if you just get me past this next block, you know, I mean, you just have to find that, dig deep in you. And yeah, some people, they do need that accountability. They do need someone else to help them, which is perfectly fine.
Hmm.
But
Like I've
I feel if
kind
you
of,
can,
um re just evaluate, you know, just life in general, and especially when it's like trying to start something new, and I truly believe that people need to find their why. and know
Yeah.
why you are doing what you're doing. Because once you find that why, it kind of, for me, it sticks out in the forefront. It's in the forefront of my mind as to why I need to do this. For me, one of my main whys was my children. Like, not having my mom, and it's just like I want to be around for them. They're my heart, they're everything. And so being able to have and answer that question, like, why do you want to lose weight? Like, why is this going to be very important to you? And then I was able to keep picking off of that thought process, like my kids.
Yeah.
Like, I got to do this for the kids, I got to do that. So I do think definitely finding the reason why you want to do whatever it is, why you want to start a business, why you want to be a healthier you, why you want to, venture off and have some self growth, whatever it may be. Finding that why is going to help and motivate you to stay consistent with that. It may not always be the way that you're envisioning it, but I still think if you can tune into that why reason, that's still going to be enough to kind of keep you back, can bring you back to be on track for that. So that part's great to really sit and think about when it comes to that.
Hmm.
So you've been for the vegetarian, you've been that for 3 years. You've been on your transformation and stuff for some time. What would you say is one of your hardest struggles with like maintaining your weight loss?
Ooh, girl, nutrition, nutrition.
Hmm.
Um, Nutrition is the hardest part. A lot of people think working out is. No, it's the nutrition. That's the hardest part because in reality, it's 80% nutrition, 20% getting your butt up and doing something.
Hmm.
So nutrition is the biggest part, and I still struggle with it. By me being a fitness trainer, personal trainer, group fitness instructor, I still continue to struggle with my nutrition.
Hmm.
And I rather sit here and be real with you than to be fake and be like, oh no, girl, I eat this, I eat that. No, I still struggle. I still can eat. I still eat cake. I still eat cookies. Um, and I still, for me, sugar is a trigger for me.
Hmm.
Like some people say, sugar is crack. You know,
Hmm.
so sugar is definitely a trigger for me. I struggle with that. Um, but I also try to go back to my mindset and be like, okay, I can't continue to do this because if
Hmm.
I continue to do it, I'm gonna go back to where I was. Um, so it's just something that you have to. I mean, nobody's perfect, so it's no point in beating yourself up behind it. Um, it's just that you just have to really focus, really find that mindset, and be like, okay, I gotta put this to the side and just focus. But yeah, nutrition, that's the hardest part.
Hmm.
It's definitely
I
the
do
hardest
believe, like you say, sugar is it's very addicting.
part.
I know for
Mhm.
me, one of my things was I like it was carbs. Carbs, man. You get me in a room full of carbs and I'm like, okay, I didn't die and went to heaven. Like this is, you got bread and I got the pasta and then it was carbs, and then it's chocolate, right? And I was
Yep.
like, I knew I was addicted to chocolate. I mean, I could eat some Reese Pieces to like woo, like every time my husband come home, it's like, I bought you something. I bought you something. And I was just like, oh my gosh. And I will always, be, joking with him. And, when I figure out in my mind that I want to get started, I want to be, working on being better and being healthier, I would always be like, man, I feel like you're trying to sabotage me because, you just want me to remain how I am because you enjoy that. Because every time you come in here with something that I'm not supposed to have. And he'll be like,
Yeah.
oh, don't do that. Like, I just thought that, maybe. And I'm like, no. But for me, I have to cut everything. Like, I just have to cut it cold turkey. I can't kind of indulge on it until I can get a handle over it mentally, that I'm not depending on it or I'm not looking for an outlet, or if I'm feeling depressed or I'm feeling sad about something, it's like I'm an eater. I'm an emotional eater. And so, yeah,
Yeah.
so I was like, I'm trying to figure out, what I need to do. So it was like, once I started, I never really was like a soda drinker, but I realized that it was starting to become too much in my face. So it was like, boom, we don't drink sodas. And if we do now, I'm to the point where I can drink some and it's not a craving for me. It's a, hey, I had a sip of it. It was good. I'm fine with that. I cut out chocolate. Now every now and then, if I have like one of those little chocolate cookie things, like I'm okay, because I feel like I had to go through something, because the dependency that I had on food was just not a healthy one. Because it wasn't like
Right.
I was dependent on all the good stuff. It was all the stuff that I shouldn't have.
Yeah.
So when it comes to your nutrition, and that being something that you find yourself at times struggling with, how do you try to stay in front of it? Because I feel like if you don't get a handle on it or get out in front of it, or whether it's the pep talk to yourself to be like, okay, no, then it's gonna like kind of try to take over again. So it's like trying to stay in front of it so that way you don't kind of regress back to what you're doing. So for you
Exactly.
in that, is it just your meal preps? Is it the pep talk? Is it, looking in the mirror and being like, okay.
All of the above. It's all of the above. It's all of the
Gotcha.
above. Yes.
And I
Yes.
understand, one of the things that we try to tell ourselves as, just people is, we all come in different sizes, and I feel like I'm not, and I don't want women to feel that, you have to be this certain look,
No.
for my mom, she used to be a bodybuilder, right? And so you have this physique that, she was 200 pounds. She didn't look 200 pounds, and everybody carries weight differently. But I think it comes down to not necessarily saying that you want to be, this particular weight, but it's just being about changing and having those healthier habits for yourself. And I remember you had posted um, something a while ago, when the kids was in football, and you were just like, you had like a size maybe 6 pants on or something. You was like, stay off the scale. It's not about the scale. And I was like, man, I'm telling you, and it's like I know these things, but then there's a part of me that is human, right? And so I'll be on that scale and I'd be like, okay, now this don't make no sense. Like I know that it is not right, right? So what are your things, little pet peeves or little things that will be helpful to people who are on this journey, so that way you don't psych your mind out to be like, I give up, it's not working.
Well, let me tell you what I did. I took my scale and I hid it. Actually, I gave it to my son. I told my son to hide it somewhere in the house where I couldn't find it. Okay. So that's one thing. Stay off the scale, because the scale will have you, girl, have you going crazy.
Hmm.
So stay off the scale. Two, go by how your clothes fit. Okay.
Hmm.
That's because inches mean more than anything. So if your clothes are fitting loose, okay, that means you're doing good. You're right on track. It's
Okay.
starting to feel a little bit snug. That means you need to pull away from the dinner table, okay, and switch up something on your plate. Um, but yeah, for me, staying off the scale and checking my going about the way my clothes fit.
Hmm. Now I remember my mom would tell me stuff too, like, the same thing you're saying in regards to how your underwear and stuff, if they're looser, you may have to change your drawers. Then they're the same, they don't fit the same. And clothes, because of, we just lose weight differently, really
Right.
differently. And sometimes you might find a certain image that you might use as a motivator. So it's just different, I guess, just trying to find ways to keep your mind focused, because I feel like it's easy to get deterred. especially
Yeah,
when
it
you're
is.
constantly on the scale. And I say that just from experience. Um, and then also trying to compare yourself to somebody else in their weight loss journey, or what they're
And you
doing. And I'm
definitely
like,
can do.
everybody's different. So trying to find
Yes,
that,
and
I
I tell
think
my
is
clients that
is
all the time.
being, it also, I think, does come back to also just being comfortable with who you are, that you don't have to compare yourself to someone, right? Because how I got here is how I got here. How I got to this particular weight, this particular how I feel about myself was my own journey, and how I perceived everything. So it's just very important, I think, that everyone, you stay in your lane. uh,
You can't compare
it's
your journey to someone else's journey. It's just not.
yes, yes, I totally agree with that. And
Mhm.
so let's see, when we had talked about just briefly, if you're not able to go to the gym and stuff like that, to do at least, you can start simple, and that's walking 30 minutes. Is this something
Yeah.
that you suggest, that starting off, it's every day? Is it 3 times a week? Is it any little extra that you can give for these ladies who are trying to start, and just don't have the means to just jump in the gym? Which I think, if you're going to start, it shouldn't be something that you're out there, you ain't been in the gym in a year, and then you want to go in the gym and you trying to lift and do all that. I think, it's a
No,
process
no.
that you should be going through, to get
Yeah.
yourself there, because with that can come injury and everything else. And then it's like, if you have an injury, it's going to make you sit down, which is probably going to not keep that motivation that you once had to begin with. So what is your suggestion in regards to how frequently should we be out here at least walking 30 minutes?
For someone that's just wanting to get started on their journey, I would say go out for 3 days a week, 30 minutes a day.
Hmm.
But you have to understand that the biggest thing that you want to work on is your nutrition. Um, because if you're, going walking, getting your exercise in, for 30 minutes a day, but yet you're still eating bad, you're going to sabotage yourself, and you're just going to be like, you know what, forget it. Because the weight, you're not losing the weight. Why? Because you haven't changed your nutrition. Um, so if you're going to jump into it, work on your nutrition first.
Gotcha.
Um,
Now,
yeah, work on that first.
one of the things, and Leah has a question, I'll get to it in just a second. But one of the things, when you're talking about nutrition, I had saw that you had posted, and it made me chuckle a little bit because it made sense. And even though I actually went to a weight loss physician, and he was saying what you felt was not right. I totally understood that. So what you had posted was, um, you know how when you start your change in your nutrition and stuff like that, and you might have put yourself on a stricter diet or a change in diet, and then all of a sudden they say, you can have one day that you can do whatever you want to do. And
Hmm.
you was just like, I don't agree with that. And then I was like, you know what? I said, well, I remember going to the physician or whatever, and he was like, his particular words to me was, first thing I needed to do was walk 30 minutes a day, which I was like, I'm in the gym, like I'm gonna do me, right? But it was 30 minutes a day. He wanted me to walk, and then I could pick a day, and on that day I can pretty much have a free fall for all day. And
Oh,
I took
wow.
advantage of my free fall for all day, because it was just more mental than anything. Did I really need it? No, because I was already on the road of doing what I needed to do. 6 days out of the 7 anyway. So it's like, did I really need that? Or was that just, how he, designed his program? But for you, you were saying that you didn't believe that that should be the way to go, because that's just like, removing someone who has an addiction and then telling them to go spend the day, at the drug house, just for old time's sake or something. So, what is your thought process just on that? Are you really like gun ho? Is there a reason why you feel that you should just keep on going and not have that like that?
Yeah, and really, the reason why I think that way is because I'm thinking of really myself, of how I am in the situation. And I know a lot of people out there are like me. Certain things will trigger them. Certain foods will trigger them. So if you are still struggling with your nutrition, why should you go have a cheat day? Because that cheat day is going to turn into another cheat day, then another cheat day, and then where you going to be at? Back where you started from. So yeah, if that's how I feel. If you're struggling with your nutrition, don't do it.
And
If you are someone who, go ahead. I thought you were going to say something.
oh no, go ahead.
But if you are one that has that mindset, that strong mindset, oh, I can, have a cookie and then cut it off right there and then go back to what you was doing, then okay, good. But a lot of us are not like that.
Like that.
Me, myself, I'm not like that. I'm not built like that. There are times when I can be. There are times when I'm very headstrong. My mindset is there. And then there are times when I'm weak.
Mm,
Okay. And if I'm weak, I'm going to fall.
gotcha.
Okay. But exactly. So that's why I say if your nutrition is not, if you're not strong with your nutrition, there's no point in doing it. No point.
And I was like, when I read it, I was like, it made perfect sense to me. It really did. And I felt like it was just more of a mindset thing. It's like you were doing so well for 6 days. And
Mm-hmm.
not that you needed it or your body was craving it or anything, but it was just like, okay, you're just going to take advantage of it just because you could take advantage of it. But if you were told that, if you would have told me, no, you can't have no day, this is what it is, then if I wanted to get those results, then I would have just abided by whatever he said. Right.
Girl. And
So
what a
Leia
lot
had
of
a quick
people,
question. She was saying, have you hung on to a favorite clothing item to remind you of your progress?
oh, yes. Matter of fact, let me go get it.
Okay.
Girls are a big green jacket. Hold on. All right, I'm back. Okay, y'all. This jacket, um, this used to fit me kind of tight.
Mm.
Let me see. This is a 22, 24.
Oh,
Okay, I
wow.
was in a 22, 24, and this fit me tight. So, and this was really the only thing. God, I wish I had a picture to show y'all. But so yeah, this is what I keep. I keep this in remembrance of where I never want to be again.
Mm.
Um, I keep this in remembrance of the the dark hole that I was in. Um, I went through a lot during this time. Um, I felt unattractive. My hair was falling out. I was just like in a black hole. And really, I didn't love myself because if
Mm.
I did, I would not have did that to myself. I use food as an excuse every day of my life. Of course, like I said, when I got pregnant, that was even more, to put on the fuel. I was like, oh, I got to eat for the baby. No, you don't. You don't.
Mm.
That was just my excuse that I put in my head so I could eat. Um, I got way, way, way overweight. I had circles around my eyes. I was just in bad condition, y'all. Bad condition. And I think if you get on my Facebook page, there is a picture. I had on a red blouse, um, and my eyes were like dark. I looked like a raccoon.
Oh.
But yeah. So I keep this to remember, where I never, never, never want to go back to. Never. So it can be
Mm.
done, y'all. It definitely can be done.
Well, I was like, I feel like that's a good motivator for you, and in
Hmm.
finding something that you can actually look and touch,
Yeah.
to take you back, just as a memory, to be like, this is where I don't want to go back again. We have Miss Cindy. She's asking, do you do intermittent fasting?
I have. Um, Intermittent fasting is good. It's okay, but I would not do it long term though. Only because your body gets used to it, and then it just stops working. From my experience with
Gotcha. So you felt like
it.
after your body was like, okay, you kind of plateaued.
Yeah. Mhm.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
I was like, I know that a couple of people that I know have tried the intermittent fasting, um, and then it appeared to work for them during that time frame. But then I did notice, because it was like, well, what are you doing to lose weight? And it's like, oh, nothing. Like, I'm just doing the intermittent fasting, and I only eat at certain hours, and such and such. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then they were losing some weight. Um, but then maybe like the last 6 months, I seen them real heavy, working out and doing all the extra, which in the beginning they didn't have to do that. So
Mhm.
I can see where maybe they probably plateaued some just off of that and didn't have to incorporate something additional to add with the fasting to keep getting those same results that they were getting to begin with. So definitely, definitely. I feel like on the journey of just being healthier, and especially, losing, weight and things of that nature, it's about finding what works for you. What is
Yes.
going to be the best thing for you? Because again, the way that you are made up, and how you live life and stuff, is not always going to be the same as the person next to you. So really trying to find your workout plan that's designed specifically for you, your lifestyle, what you got going, and what you're trying to go and actually get to, or what are your goals that you're trying to get through.
Yes.
um Leah, she's gonna put you on the spot. She said, can you walk us through your nutrition for today?
Oh wow. Let me see. For breakfast, what did I have? When did I wake up eating? Hold on, y'all. So this morning, I know I had my egg whites. So what I do one whole egg, and I do three egg whites.
Hmm.
So I had that. Then I had two slices of my Ezekiel bread. I love Ezekiel bread. Um, and then I had grapes.
Hmm.
Okay, so that was for my breakfast. Then for my snack, let's see, me and my husband went to the gym, came back. I had a protein bar. Um, Let me see. And for lunch, I had my green salad. Um, and what I like to do with my salads, I don't like to do lettuce, because lettuce really does not have any type of
Nutritional
nutritional
value.
value.
Hmm.
So
Okay.
I like a mixture of greens, kale, spinach, arugula. Am I saying that right? I think. Um, so anything green. So I had my green salad with my plant-based meat. Okay. I did put a little cheese on it. Um, let's see. And for dinner, my vegetarian gumbo. Yes, vegetarian gumbo.
Gotcha. And
Yes,
so, is there a
ma'am.
certain time for you that you don't eat, that you stop and say, okay, if I have to
I,
eat by a certain time? um
I try to cut off by 8 o'clock. But if I don't, it's okay. because it depends on the type of foods that you're eating. If you're gonna eat crap, then you're gonna, you know, be pretty bloated the
Hmm.
next day. Um,
Now,
but if you're gonna eat wholesome food, then okay, you're good. It's not gonna do anything to you if you eat past 8, 9 o'clock, just as long as you're eating wholesome food.
gotcha. So it's more like what you're eating compared to
Mm-hmm.
when you're eating.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Well, great. And so one other thing, because I didn't mention that or ask you earlier, but can we ask what are you currently at now, and how long have you been able to maintain weight wise?
My weight. Oh, my weight right now I'm at 181. Um, the smallest I've been, I think 165 was the
Oh,
smallest.
wow.
With my height, I prefer to be where I'm at, which is 181. Um, and what was the other question?
Um, I know, right? You just blew my mind with what you said. I don't even remember what the question was. I was like, you look great. And I was just thinking in my head, I'm like, okay, the like 315 and 160 something. I'm like, oh man, like that's really how long have you been able to maintain that? That's what the question was.
Oh, woof. Let's see. I've been maintaining this for, I want to say, girl.
Hmm.
Let's see. I started my journey in 2009. It took me about 2.5 years to lose the weight. So yeah, it's been a good while.
Yeah,
It's
you're
been a
looking
good
at
while.
what, like 10, 11
Yeah,
years?
yeah, yeah.
Hmm. Very good. Very good. Well, I definitely enjoyed being able to sit down and talk with you. I'm very blessed that you were willing and able to share, your story with us here, giving us some motivation, giving us some tips, letting us see it in reality that, once you have that mindset that you can accomplish what you have set out to
And
do.
it's all about
And it's
mindset.
not always that you have to um, have something horrible or life threatening happen to you in order for you to get there. Sometimes it might just be a simple wake up call in reference to how you feel. Like you say, you just walk in and realize like that's not what I want to do. That's not a normal thing for
Right,
me. I shouldn't be feeling like this, just trying to get to my
right.
son. So
And plus, knowing all the different illnesses that run in my family, heart disease, diabetes, high blood pressure, all that stuff runs in my family. So it's like you gotta do something, because sooner or later it's gonna catch up to you. If you're not
gotcha.
gonna take care of yourself, if you're not gonna eat the right foods, if you're not gonna get up and move, you are gonna end up with those diseases. I mean, as simple as that.
See. Well, yes. Well, again, I do thank you, Livia, for taking the time and stuff with us. I do encourage all
Right.
the queens in the community and stuff to definitely, hit replay with the live,
So if you have
hear
any
what,
questions,
Livia has to
you have
say.
to.
She's been doing this for quite some time. She's been successful at maintaining her weight. So it's not just a, hit and miss type of thing. And then I also would encourage everyone to truly find your reason why, and stick with that, and tune into that when you're not feeling at your best, or you're feeling like you want to give up. Tap into that reason as to why you wanted or you started your journey to begin with. I think that's going to be very helpful. Um, I will definitely make sure to post Livia's contact information again. I guarantee you, she's always posting with her clients. If you're in need of a personal trainer, if you're in need of a place to go to start your journey in being a better you, I definitely will make sure that we have that information to give you. Queens. And again, I want to say thank you so much. It's been a wonderful experience. I pray and hope that those that get to watch and have been able to be on here with us, that you walk away with something that can help you on your journey to a healthier you. So again, thank you, Liv, for
It's not
doing
too
this.
late to change.
I definitely
Not too
would love to have you back on another time, and
late. Hmm.
kind of go from there. But it's been really, really helpful. Leah says, thank you for sharing and giving your time to minister to the village, which is definitely an amen. And again, it's, you see someone you can relate to, you can look at them, you can see their journey. Carol says, thank you for doing this as well. Miss Cindy says, you know, will do, in reference to just finding that why, and just getting to do a little bit more with what yourself, because I tell you, it's not always an easy, and people think that they want to lose weight and they want to do it so fast, they want it right here, they want it right now, and I think that has to do more with just society, right? Because we are a
Yeah.
now society. But I tell you,
Yeah.
tomorrow's going to come, next year's going to come. You know, if you start your journey today, just start it. You know, starting
Yeah.
is going to be half the battle. Some people keep putting it off, but tomorrow never comes. I'm like, just start it, and then take your
Just start.
time with it. You know, it's not a race. Yeah, I feel like for me, it's a marathon run. You know, it's something that I'm constantly working on, something that I'm constantly trying to be better at, and get to where I have more momentum and more motivation. And a lot of that for me is the mindset. So I know what I need to work on, and aiding me to be successful in this. Because I'm like, again, my why is my children, and you know, I want to be able to see them grow. I want to see my grandchildren. I want to be able to just, you know, go outside and not be like, oh, I'm just standing there because I'm tired. So again, thanks so much, Liv. This has been awesome. You've been really
Thank you for
helpful.
having me.
And again, I look forward to possibly doing something else with you in the near future.
Yes.
But yes,
Yes. Yes.
this has been awesome. So thank you very much for sharing. And you know,
Thank you,
not a lot of
guys.
women like to talk about their weight. You know, it's really, and one thing before we go, you know, when it comes back to, don't be comparing yourself to someone else, right? So I can remember just in a younger me, and it was just like, I've always pretty been, you have this, I'm like, and so you're thinking that in your mind, but then I look at someone else and they're just like, oh well, I'm only like, you know, 250 pounds, and then you're looking at like, well, where's that at? Because I, you know, for me, I am 300 pounds, so my weight and how I'm shaped and stuff is completely different from someone else, and I will get so discouraged to be like, there's no way, you know, that, again, comparison, and it would just bring me to a whole down kind of spiral thing. Then I'm like, just do not be focused on nobody else. We all carry weight
I know.
differently, it all looks
The
differently
journey.
on us, and so
Yes.
it's just really about, and just embracing whatever your journey and your goal is, and just rocking the heck out of it. So again, this has been
Exactly.
awesome. Yes, yes. So again, I will make sure that Livia's stuff is posted for those, if you're in need of a personal trainer or you want to be a part of a gym. And I mean, she's great. I'm pretty sure you wouldn't mind them reaching out to you or anything like that. I'll make
Oh
sure
no,
to
if y'all
tag
have
her
any
information.
questions,
But this has
reach
been
out.
awesome, and we'll look forward to the next one.
Me too, girl. Thank you, ma'am. You ladies have a beautiful night.
All righty. You too.
All right, girl.
All righty. Bye bye.